Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marisa Kazem and today I'm going to be showing you how I set up May in my bullet journal. So firstly, I just want to apologize for how late this video is. It is about a week later than what I would normally do, and that is just because I had a very busy month with a lot going on. So I don't know if you just saw, but I just transferred the image directly into my journal, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But first, I'm going to talk about my Disney princess for this month, which is Princess Jasmine. If you're new to my channel, there are 12 official Disney princesses, and every month of this year I am picking a different Disney princess for each month as my theme, and this one is obviously Jasmine. Now, I have a lot of love for Princess Jasmine because she is the only Middle Eastern Disney princess, and I myself am Middle Eastern. I'm Persian, and growing up I loved Princess Jasmine. She was the only princess that had bushy eyebrows and a broad nose, just like me, and I loved that. And especially her dark hair as well. She's not the only princess with dark hair, but when I was young at a private school in England, I was surrounded by a lot of blondes with small noses and thin eyebrows, and I felt very left out. And I specifically remember someone telling me my nose was disgusting and that my eyebrows were gross, and I just have a lot of bad memories associated with that. And so I always loved Princess Jasmine because although I don't look like Princess Jasmine, I'm still Middle Eastern, and she had some very specific things that I have, which I was made fun of for. So always loved Princess Jasmine, and so that's why I was really happy to pick her for this month. The only reason I picked her for this month, honestly though, is because it seems as if Aladdin is set in the springtime, just given all the plants and all the fruit that's there. I don't really know much about seasons with all that, but it just seemed like a fitting princess to choose for May. So for the cover page this month, I just decided to go with the castle, simply because I couldn't think of anything else from the movie that would be best fitting for the cover page, and Jasmine's castle is very unique and I thought it would look good on the cover page. And on the side here you can see that for my quote page I did draw Aladdin and Jasmine. If you're new to my channel, I'm trying to avoid drawing the main characters and I want to focus on all the elements of the film, but I really wanted to draw the magic carpet and I didn't like any of the other references, and I thought this was a cute scene from the movie and it's just their backs. I didn't have to draw any of their faces, and I thought it went well with the quote that says, "I will take these broken wings and watch me burn across the sky." That is a quote that Jasmine sings in the live-action Aladdin from 2019. And I know it's not the original, but I really loved her song in that movie. I love that she had a solo song because I'm pretty sure she is the only Disney princess that does not have her own solo song, because the movie was meant to be more about Aladdin than it was Jasmine, so she didn't get a solo. So I loved the solo that they did in the live action, and I wanted to include that quote in my setup. And so now I'm going to talk more about the transferring of the images. So like I said, for this month I have been so busy and I haven't had time to just sit down and sketch in my journal. So I watched the movie once, I took screenshots of all the stuff that I wanted to draw, and I thought about, what I would put on each spread. I didn't just screenshot everything, but I screenshotted the stuff I wanted to draw, and I used charcoal transfer paper and I transferred the images straight into this journal. Some things I did sketch by hand, like the little hill or mountain to the side there where the lamp is on. I drew that one by hand because it was literally just a bunch of blobs, so that one was fine. I didn't need to transfer it. But I transferred a lot of stuff into the journal just because it saved a lot of time and I didn't have time to sketch this month. But I also thought it'd be good to show you guys this. If you've been following me for a while, you'll remember that I did this same thing in October last year for my American Horror Story setup. I transferred the faces of the actors and actresses into my journal because I don't have time to spend hours sketching a tiny portrait. So I did that and it works out great. So if you guys want to do this, I'd really recommend it. It was definitely hard to figure out how to lay things on the page, especially for this calendar spread, and I'm incredibly proud of how it turned out. I basically wanted it to feel like you're in the Cave of Wonders, but there are two main parts to the Cave of Wonders. The first part has all the gold treasure, and then the second part is where it's like all dark and blue, and that's where the lamp is. And I really wanted to draw a Boo going after that red jewel because he was so cute. And yeah, I don't mind drawing a Boo because he's adorable and he's tiny. But this was kind of hard to visualize at first because if you guys have seen my previous videos this year, you'll remember that for Beauty and the Beast setup, I recreated the library on a page and I had to make it work with my page layout, and I don't think I could have done that by transferring the image. And same thing for Ariel's grotto. I don't think I could have traced that and made it work because in the movie the grotto is very narrow and I stretched it out and made it very wide in my journal. So for those kinds of things, I definitely don't think transferring the image would work. But for this, it did work. I was able to fit everything in a layout that I liked. And some of my drawings will look a little wonky. Later I drew Jafar as a snake and it's kind of at an awkward angle. Also, I was very tired and very exhausted while doing this entire setup. It is currently 1:20 in the morning that I am doing this voiceover because I am trying to get this out on time for you guys. I mean, it's already late. I don't even know what I mean by on time, but I'm trying to get it out sooner because I don't want to have to wait a whole nother day. So I'm trying my best to get this out. But yeah, I love this spread. It's so colorful. I didn't realize in Aladdin how much blue, purple, and gold there is. Like, those are the main colors of the whole film. And almost every scene where it's meant to be like beige or gold, they've always added blue in it, and I think it just makes it look so much more vibrant. It's so interesting when you watch a film in detail and you're paying attention to the artwork and you see all these different things. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'll stop rambling. Onto this spread for my mood tracker. Obviously, I had to draw the lamp somewhere. And in the movie, out from the lamp, we see smoke that is bright pink on the bottom and like a bluish purple on top. And I had no idea what else to do, and smoke in that shape was very quick and easy to draw. So I made all of my moods different shades of blue and purple, and I think it will look very interesting when I color this in by the end of the month. But I loved how my painting of that lamp came out. Like, it just looks so bold. It looks like I could grab it off the page. Like, I just loved it. And here I'm also adding some gold sparkles with acrylic paint, which I thought looked really cute. And anyway, on to my next spread. So this is my habit tracker and weight tracker, and I decided to do Jasmine's bedroom because this is Jasmine's theme. One thing I thought that was really weird about her bedroom is that it doesn't look like she has a bed unless they're just specifically not showing us that section of her room, because her room looks massive, but all we see is this little center section where there's this bench and a makeup desk and some carpets and pillows. But I'd be very surprised if she slept on a bench because I don't know how you'd wake up the next day with your back feeling okay. But it's okay, it was cute, and I loved all the turquoise colors in this piece. All of the footage that I have for this video came out to about 13 hours once I had cut out all of the in between little breaks and the time that it took me to mix paint colors and things. So technically this took me longer than 13 hours, but I'm so happy that I decided to transfer the images. Otherwise this would not have been done until the middle of May, and then I would never have even been able to use it. But you know, this setup is a true plan with me. You guys practically saw the whole process with this video, except for simple things like deciding how many squares should the title go in and things like that. Otherwise, the only thing you guys did not do with me is watch the movie with me and select the images, because otherwise I just printed them out and got the transfer paper and just started transferring on camera. And you'll see, like, every time I turn the page to go on to the next spread, it's mostly blank, and a lot of the sketching, even in the titles, isn't even there because I did not have time to pre-plan anything this month. So you guys are getting a much more raw version of how I do my setups, just obviously without the sketching. I do prefer to sketch by hand just because it gives me more practice with artwork. That's one of the main reasons I like to be so artistic in my journal. It's because I like to improve my art skills. But you don't have to draw by hand every time to improve your art skills. I mean, painting in watercolor itself is a huge improvement for me because I have always been so afraid of watercolor, and I didn't touch it until this year, I think in January. Well, technically in December for doing my January setup, and I still got a lot of practice with this one. And all of the paintings, well, not all, but a lot of the paintings in this setup had such tiny little details, and I kind of wish I had printed things at a little bit of a bigger size so that I would have more room for some of the colors. But it's okay, I figured out how to do it and make it work. And you know, my lines are not as clean as I want them to be, but I still feel like I'm in Jasmine's world, and that's all I wanted for this setup. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and like this video and hit the bell notification so that you'll be notified about my upcoming princess videos. I love doing these princess themes, and I'm not planning on stopping. No matter how busy I am going to make it work because it's so much fun, and I love looking at my own artwork every day. I don't know if that sounds vain. It's not really a vain thing, it's more like because I'm so proud of it. So I'm definitely going to keep doing this, and yeah, subscribe if you haven't so that you'll see which princess is coming next month. And so this is my finances and brain dump page, and when I was just saying about being proud, this painting is the painting that I am most proud of in this entire setup. I was very afraid to paint the Cave of Wonders just because it is so dark. You know, the Cave of Wonders is made of sand, and when I remembered the movie, I always thought it was going to be beige. But when you look at it in the movie, every single time we see the Cave of Wonders, it's literally this vibrant dark blue because they're showing it at nighttime. So I was thinking of maybe painting it beige and trying to make it look as if it was daytime. And then I was like, you know what, I am not going to mess with that because it's going to look like a gold statue by the time I'm done with it, and I didn't want to do that. And I also really loved how vibrant it looked in blue. So I took my time with it. This one painting took me an hour and a half to paint. Now imagine if I sketched that too, it would have been like 2 hours sketching it, so that's why we cut out the sketching this month. But I was so proud of my shadowing and the detail for this month. In the reference photo, you can see a little bit of that orangey red light on the teeth of the tiger, and so I kept that in as well, and it looks so vibrant. It literally looks like the warm light is coming right out of its mouth, and I loved that the eyes look like they're white and glowing. I was actually very lucky that based on my placement, none of the dot grids got in the eye space, because if it had, it would look like he has this teeny tiny eye, and that would be kind of freaky. But none of the dots ended up in the eye space, and the eyes look like they're glowing, and it's so vibrant. and I just love it. I'm definitely very proud of this painting compared to a lot of other paintings I've done this year. Also, I just thought I'd do a random check-in with my health and fitness journal that I made in my last video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it below. It's not really artistic at all, so I can understand if you guys don't want to see it, but I just decided to share it on my channel anyway. I feel a lot more positive and more well-rested since I started that journal. I know I probably sound crazy right now because I sound so tired. It's 1:40 in the morning now, and I don't feel well rested at this moment because I've been up all day trying to do this video. But aside from that, I feel so much more positive since I started that journal, and I'm actually sticking to eating healthier and exercising, and it's making me feel amazing. So just thought I'd check in, let you guys know how that's going. I don't really plan on doing an update video on that journal probably until I'm actually done with it, because I feel like that's a more fair, reasoning to use. But in this first week, I feel great despite how my voice sounds right now, and I am looking forward to the rest of that journal. Also, so this is my productivity log spread, and what you just saw was a painting of the fountain that Jasmine seems to sit by. She's always by that fountain, and we see her cry by it, and she walks past the fountain when she's escaping into the village. So I thought I had to draw the fountain, and it was a very cute, very quick drawing. If you don't know what my productivity log is, it's basically just where I highlight what I'm doing for all the hours of the day. I like to track my sleep and when I'm being productive and when I'm exercising and things like that. And anyway, so this is my first weekly setup. I'm only setting up this first weekly on camera. The other weeklies I did off camera just because it's the exact same weekly, but I will show you all the paintings on each weekly. So for the first weekly, I decided to paint the marketplace that she goes to. On the left side here, we have the apple what should I call it? The apple market thing. I don't know what to call it. The stand, okay, that sounds better. The stand with all the apples where she takes the apple and gives it to a kid and she almost gets her hand cut off. We're not going to talk about the bad cultural representation right there because I am too tired to get into that, and we know culturally there are a lot of things wrong with Aladdin, the original, but they definitely stepped up in the live action, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But anyway, this was a very important thing for her because she clearly didn't even understand how money worked, because I remember the guy in the movie was like, you have to pay for that, and she goes, pay? And it's like, she literally doesn't understand how money works. That's how sheltered she is in her castle, and she has so much to learn about the world. And so this whole scene of her going to the marketplace was very important for Princess Jasmine. And then the next drawing here is technically Aladdin's room, but it's not really a room, it's just where he was staying. And behind that curtain is where the big view of the castle is, but obviously I could not draw that behind the curtain. But yeah, I wanted to draw this too because this was also a big moment for her. I mean, this is the first place that she had been to outside of her palace to see where someone in her city is living, and that's a big thing. I mean, I know he's homeless and poor and he's not the majority, but still, it's a very big moment for her seeing this. And I thought it was very sweet when Aladdin was showing her his little quarters, and she literally just said, oh, it sounds lovely to stay here. And I'm like, there is no food, there is no bathroom, there's nothing, but she thinks it's beautiful. And I thought that was really sweet, and it says a lot about her character, and I wanted to include that. Also, I just realized I keep saying castle, but I know in the movie they refer to it as a palace. I need to look up if there's a difference between a castle and a palace, because some movies we say castle and some movies we say palace, and I'm curious if there's a difference. If you know the difference, comment below because I'm very curious. But anyway, so this is a spread dedicated to the genie, and this right here might look really weird, but basically when he's singing Friend Like Me song to Aladdin, he out of lights makes a version of the palace with this like neon light look, and I just sketched it by hand and my proportions were completely off. I just wanted to get the vibe of it, and it was a very simple drawing, and I thought it went well with the genie, and I decided to draw him. He's very small. I probably could have printed off the picture a little bit bigger to fill out the space, so that's also why I added some sparkles just to fill it in, but I obviously just had to dedicate a small section to the genie because technically the whole movie would not have been possible without the genie. And so for this weekly spread, I decided to do the Sultan's throne and another section of the throne room, which is the curtains that we see Jasmine walk through right after she says, "I am not a prize to be won." And I wanted to draw some part of the throne room in this setup because it is literally so beautiful. Like the artwork, the stone, the marble, the color of the curtains, like it's just gorgeous. And I don't really think my paintings did it justice because they were a little bit muddy looking, but it's okay. I love the vibe that it created. I love the colors. I love the Sultan's throne with that giant elephant statue. I don't know how realistic that is to what they would do if this was, you know, a real place. You know, if Agrabah was a real city and this was real back in the day, I don't know if they'd have that giant elephant statue, but it looked beautiful and I wanted to include it because it was just so pretty, and yeah, I just really wanted to recreate the vibe of the throne room. There were so many great areas of that throne room to use. The ceiling was so pretty, and there were pillars that overlooked the entire city, and also the main entrance to the palace had these giant turquoise doors, and they were so beautiful and detailed, but I decided to do the ones that were most significant. I loved this one with the throne just because it made me think of her dad, and I love Jasmine's dad. He's very sweet, and for those of you who don't know, I lost my dad last year to COVID, and anytime there's a Disney dad, I want to represent them because, you know, in a way it makes me sad, but it's also a good thing. Disney dads are great. Most Disney dads don't die off. I mean, Tiana was like the only one who lost just her dad and not both parents. But I love the Sultan. He's adorable, he's really funny, and he's the only Middle Eastern Disney dad, so I had to do something for him, so I drew his throne. Also, I really wanted to draw King Triton's throne in my March setup, but I couldn't fit it in anywhere. So this kind of felt like I was making up for it since I didn't get to draw the throne in that one. But yeah, so here are the curtains that Jasmine goes through. Do you see what I mean about, like, if there's gold in the movie, they always added blue? Like, this entire movie was just gold and blue everywhere, and I'm here for it. It was beautiful, they go so well together, and it was so vibrant. But yeah, I definitely think I added a little too much purple to the walls because I was trying to, you know, go off of the lighting, but since my bullet journal paper is so white, it looks a little too purple, but it's okay. I loved it. To me, it still looked like that part of the movie where she walks through the curtains, and that's all that matters. And so for the last weekly, I had to dedicate it to the villain of the movie, Jafar. And I just want to say something quick about his staff. So if you notice the way I drew the snake's mouth open and I don't know what you call those, wings. The wings are like open. But in the movie, his staff changes. For the majority of the movie, the staff snake head is like with a closed mouth and the wings are down. But then after he's had access to the genie and he goes extra evil, the staff he has, its mouth is open and the wings are fanned out. And I never noticed that my entire life. Like, I never noticed that the staff changed with him. But after watching the movie and having to pay attention to details, I was sat there for a minute like, oh my god, how did I never notice that throughout this entire movie? I've watched it so many times and I never noticed that. Let me know if you guys noticed that, because I never did. I know some people may think, oh, it's not a big deal, but I don't know, to me it blew my mind. I was just like, how have I never ever noticed that the staff changed? Because we know his outfit changed and everything, but the staff, I never noticed that. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to paint the characters specifically, but I thought painting him as a snake would be a really cool way to include him in the spread. And I loved painting the black lamp as well. It was so cute and I just loved that part of the film. And now also, so for my monthly check-in and monthly review page, I wanted to dedicate something to Raja, Jasmine's pet tiger, but I didn't want to draw Raja himself, mainly because there weren't many good reference photos. I didn't realize how little he was actually in the movie. Like, he's not in there a lot, and I didn't want to draw a big close-up of his face, which is very cartoony. I just kind of wanted the back of a tiger and like the tail, so I just went on Google and literally typed in like tiger back drawing, and I found this one. I don't know who the original artist is, but I just printed it off, traced it to get a tiger that I wanted, and it was perfect just to fill out this spread. And the flowers surrounding him are the flower that Aladdin gave Jasmine when they were flying on the carpet, and so I just drew a few of them because I thought it would be really cute. And then I added some sparkles to finish off the page. Anyway, if you guys are still here at the very end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys who view my videos and like my content. Let me know what you think of this setup down below, and let me know which spread was your favorite and least favorite. I'd love to know what you think. And definitely subscribe if you want to see who my princess is going to be next month. I've already chosen her, so stay tuned. It'll be a fun one. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.